Hey you guys, this is Cooks with the StaleFace podcast. Just wanted to give you guys a brief introduction into what's about to happen. We have an interview with Nathan Ruff. He's an entrepreneur from Nashville, Tennessee, and he has two companies, his web design company, 19, and his gun mount company called HEX VR. I'm giving you guys little introductions. This is a little bit different format because we kind of lost the audio from the beginning. My laptop wouldn't start at the very beginning, and so we kind of had to improvise and recorded it using another cell phone. So that's basically what happened. We promise that quality will be better in subsequent interviews. He's already recorded one more, and you guys will figure out who that is a little bit later. And so, yeah, we just wanted to give you guys more of an intro. So please charge this to our heads and not our hearts. We know what happened now, and we know how to fix the problem in the future. So just giving you guys a little heads up about that, and hope you're able to glean some value from this conversation we have with Nathan, and able to take some of the information he tells us to heart and be able to apply it to your own life and to your own business. So we pray that y'all would enjoy this, and remember that innovation never ceases. Enjoy.
I'm a lifelong entrepreneur, essentially. I didn't come from a wealthy family, and so the only way to be able to buy things, to be able to buy an ice cream cone at McDonald's or a candy bar from the grocery store down the road, is to make my own money. So at the age of 12, I started my first business, watering plants. At the age of 14, I started my second business, regripping golf clubs. At 16, I started a shirt line. That kind of led me to where I was at 18, where I was like, all right, everybody who's wealthy is in real estate. That's where I'll go. In real estate school, I saw this big need for people to need websites, or I thought I saw a big need. Mm-hmm. It turns out they did not need it. So it led me starting an agency that does custom web design and branding called 19, which I still run to this day. And then through the years, from all my work with all those clients, I kind of got into consulting, new marketing consulting, in the sense of looking at everything people are doing and saying, all right, stop doing this, start doing more of this, and laying out a kind of strategy of how to step forward in 2017 and 2016 and do marketing like we live in the year we live in. Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about, like if you graduate college, you learn how to market in 2005.
Exactly.
And so I'm really about I never claim to be an expert of anything, but one thing I am about is marketing the year we live in.
Mm-hmm. That is very true. That's a very important thing. I know a lot of, like as you said, of the college idea, a lot of the things that we have are from books that were a long time ago, and there are some fundamentals that are still the same, but some of the actions are not applicable at all anymore. Like some of the things are very antiquated, and it's not. If I saw it read that way, I wouldn't partake in it at all. So I know other people aren't.
People ask me about my success, and I give a lot of it to I wasn't indoctrinated. I was homeschooled, so the public school system didn't get me. Yeah. And because the public school system didn't get me, I was able to look at the numbers of college, and I was like, this is like a negative ROI. Like $100,000 for a business degree does not make me $100,000. Not at all. Not at all. And a fellow homeschooler, I completely understand. I was homeschooled as well. It's nice to see another one of me out there somewhere. So, with you being an entrepreneur and not taking the quote-unquote traditional path, what are been some of the biggest successes and some of the biggest struggles that you have, and how do you overcome them? So I would say success is being able to find out who I am a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest problem with the current school system and college and all this, it's people are being told who they are. Yeah. When I see these massive things of Trump gets elected and we have all these people marching saying not my president and stuff. It's like, man, you have all these people that have all this energy and stuff to focus on things. And it's like, man, I don't think they know who they are. They're following crowds. They're saying, okay, he's doing this, so I'm going to do this too. And so when it's just yourself, you learn to kind of just defend for yourself, fight for yourself, and learn who you really are and what you're about. And I think that's the biggest blessing that I have, is that by not taking a path that everybody else took,
I was really able to examine closely who I am and what I'm about and what I want to be about.
Mm-hmm. And so you actually leveraged probably, I mean, I had the question all the time, and I'm sure you did as a homeschooler, is that when you talk to people that went to public school, it's like, how did you socialize? How did you do everything? And then if you look at that, let's just call that a negative for right now for sake of argument. If you look at that, you basically turned that negative into a positive because you didn't have all the outside influences and telling you who you needed to be, and this is what's cool, and if you want to be accepted, you should think this way. You were able to come to your own conclusions and figure out how you thought as an individual or how you believed as an individual and be able to apply that.
You know, what allowed me, you know, Malcolm Gladwell and his 10,000 hour rule, what allowed me to get to, you know, several thousand hours on many different things at a young age was I didn't have any friends. Like, at the end of the day, like, I don't beat around that bush. I don't lie about that. Like, yeah, I grew up in a neighborhood where I had like 3 or 4 friends maybe. And it was okay because I was obsessed with learning how to code and learning how to market and learning how to leverage social media and learning how to build a brand, learning how to use Photoshop. And it allowed me to be 18 years old and have, you know how to use all these different programs and code better than pretty much anybody who graduates a 4-year school.
Yeah.
So, you know, anything, you know, we always say, like, life is what you make it. Like, there's losers and there's winners in the sense of, like, there's people that everything is bad and there's people who are, like, everything's good. So, like, my thing is that, like, life is hard. So just accept it and be happy and be grateful for every opportunity and everything that happens.
You all right? Yeah. My co-host in here sneezed. Sorry.
Thought someone died.
Yeah, I had to tone it down a little bit.
So I just going back on you saying that you didn't have very many friends. I know that that's one thing Peter Vood kind of talks about, how you need to learn how to take less opinions and just basically find those people around you that are going to build you up and not like tear you down almost. If you don't mind, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, so I've got you by a year. But yeah, yeah, but like I really do. Like I was looking through your website and stuff earlier this morning after we had confirmed the interview, just looking just to get background information and things, and like it's really impressive. I do enjoy it. One thing I do want to talk about is your blog post that you did where it was talking about almost patience and how do you maintain patience even though you've done this for so many years, and even though that you've had good returns and things, but I know all of us we don't strive to just be better than average. We all strive to be amazing, exemplary. How do you leverage that and keep that in mind as you continue to work?
I just like to tell myself I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the Snapchat story and by that I mean like builds a company worth $3 billion. Mark Zuckerberg offers him $3 billion at like 23 years old or however old he was.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, that's where I want to be. And I think it's so easy to get caught up in that. But yeah, with just, I'm not a patient person. In the 48 Laws of Power, I'm not saying it's like a favorite book or anything, he says something very good in the first chapter, which is like patience is learned. It's not like nobody's born with patience. You have to learn it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times we do this thing where we say, oh, I have anger issues. And then we just continue to be angry all the time. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying like, hey, I have a problem, I'm going to fix it. So in the same way, I just look at patience as a problem I have. And so I just kind of work every day on fixing it.
Yeah. And that's one of those things because even in Darren Hardy's The Compound Theory, he just talks about that. We just take little steps a day. I think the statistic is like if you get 1% better every day, you'll be twice as good in 47 days, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But it's just one of those things where you have just that compounding change over and over and over again. So it's not we have to reinvent the wheel every day or just go from 0 to 100 in one day. But if you slowly start making steps towards that goal, like even in your patience, if you're having anger management or you're just getting frustrated quickly, it's those little steps that make a difference over the long run. And that goes in hand with your patience.
And knowing that you are in control of that.
Exactly.
Jocko Willing always talks about how discipline equals freedom. It's one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of thing. Like, we're in control of our lives. This is what I tell people. Like at the end of the day, if you get a DUI and you're upset about it, you made the option to drink the alcohol. You made the option to walk to your car. You made the option to start it. It wasn't at gunpoint. It wasn't you're going to die if you don't drink this. Don't be upset about decisions you make. Like, look at all this freedom you have.
Yeah. It definitely goes into personal accountability and how you set your standards for yourself. Because, like you're saying, at the end of the day, you are in control of what's going on. Between it's you and God the majority of the time, and that's the only two people that you have. And yeah. Exactly. So can you tell us about your, it's kind of shifting gears. Sorry I couldn't craft a segue out of that one, but can you tell us about your new company that you have coming up?
Yeah, so I have a gun mount company called HEX, HEX. And it was, I was sitting in my office and I was like, I have a pretty big gun collection. And I was like, man, I wish I had a way to display my pistols. I already have an AR-15 on the wall. And for people who are listening, I'm not like some country redneck. But I love to – I do stuff only because other people don't do it. I often tell people that. Like there is like – I want to be – like I understand to build a brand and to be seen, I have to do things differently than everybody else.
Yeah.
So – a lot of the times, it's like, why'd you hang an AR-15 on your wall? Like, look, I barely even knew how to shoot it. I actually did not know how to shoot it when I bought it. Let me just rephrase. I did not know how to shoot it when I bought it. I just knew that posting photos of me working on my laptop with an AR-15 behind me would be different. And it was. So anyway, I was like, how can I display my pistols? And I kind of came up with this design, and I ended up, one of my Instagram followers wanted to meet me, and we were having dinner, and he was like, yeah, I work at a CNC machine shop, so he's like, I could make your prototypes for you and stuff.
That's awesome.
It led to this, we kind of made this pretty mount, and then in making this mount of a way to display guns, I thought, he came up with the idea of this other mount for AR-15s that is really used for law enforcement. So currently, the way a rifle is in the trunk of a police car is that it's like strapped in with Velcro.
Mm-hmm.
So they're having to put their hand on the rifle, unstrap it, switch hands, and unstrap the other side.
Yeah.
So our gun mount pretty much just allows them to grab it, push in, and pull out.
Okay.
And so we saved them like 3 seconds. So they can literally pop their trunk, instantly have their rifle.
That's great.
So that's kind of what we're working on. That's innovative, and currently we're trying to figure out more than anything, it's like I don't want to be one of those people who made a ton of money off of government. Like that's just like it's sick to me that like I understand that like it's kind of like I'm a devout Christian. Like people who make a ton of money off of churches. Like I'm not bashing it. It's just like not how I want to make my money.
Yeah, I understand.
So spending a lot of time trying to see how we can get costs the absolute lowest so we can sell it to them for cheap too. I mean, obviously we're going to make a profit because I believe that capitalism is how you solve all the world's problems.
Mm-hmm.
But like all valuable, value exchange deals, I want it to be valuable to both of us, and I want to provide exceptional value.
Okay. That sounds pretty cool. The fact that you, that it is innovative and it's saving time and it's not just something, I know sometimes when you have, there's a kabillion t-shirt businesses out there, and so at the end of the day, the majority of us don't need another t-shirt, and so normally what gets you to get into that is the message behind it, but the fact that yours actually is serving a purpose and actually has a benefit to it as well is really impressive. You're not just doing something you're not just doing something someone else has done and then just putting your name and your mission behind it, but it's actually also helping them out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, building pointless businesses I'm not like against it.